There's a technique that costs $0 and produces strong, usable rope from any fibrous plant in under 5 minutes. No paracord, no hardware store trip, no pre-packed survival kit. A rope-making method so fundamental to human survival that archaeological evidence confirms humans have used it for over 30,000 years. That the United States Army Survival Manual FM 2176 documents as a core field skill. That indigenous communities across North America refined into an art form over 10,000 years of continuous practice, and that the modern outdoor gear industry has replaced with a $7 roll of manufactured cord while ensuring you never learn that the materials for unlimited rope are growing within 10 feet of every campsite you will ever set up. Zero cost, 5 minutes, any forest, strong enough to build a shelter, set a trap, lash a raft, or haul a load. The global rope and cordage industry generates over $8 billion in annual revenue. The paracord and survival cordage market alone generates over $500 million. Every foot of manufactured cord you carry into the field is weight in your pack and money. From your wallet for a product that the forest you are walking through produces in unlimited quantity for free. A man who can make rope from any plant he encounters never runs out of one of the most critical resources in any outdoor situation. Which is exactly why no gear company selling paracord by the foot has any interest in teaching you how. This is the story of reverse wrap cordage, the oldest manufacturing technique in human history. The skill that built the shelters, nets, snares, and rigging of every pre-industrial civilization on Earth. And the one critical survival skill that the modern outdoor industry made sure you would buy instead of learn. Welcome to Forbidden Camping. If this knowledge matters to you, subscribe and hit the bell. This is where we open the vaults the gear industry paid to seal forever. Now let me take you back to where this all begins. The year is approximately 28,000 BC. At a cave site in the Caucasus Mountains, a community of early humans is producing twisted plant fiber cordage using the same fundamental technique you're about to learn today. Archaeological evidence of twisted plant fiber. Impressions preserved in clay fragments from this site, published by researchers at Harvard University in 2009, represents the oldest confirmed evidence of human cordage production. Over 30,000 years old. The technique did not need to be invented. It needed to be observed. Any fibrous plant material, bark, grass, root, leaf, when twisted and plied against itself, produces a cord that is dramatically stronger than the individual fibers it is made from. The physics of fiber interaction under twist creates friction between individual fibers that prevents them from pulling apart under tension. This is not an engineering insight. It is a physical property of twisted fiber that any person who has ever rolled plant material between their palms has discovered independently. And they did discover it independently, everywhere humans lived. Indigenous communities across North America developed cordage making into a highly refined practical skill using the specific plant materials available in their regional environments. In the Pacific Northwest, communities used the inner bark of westerns red cedar. In the Great Basin, sagebrush bark was the primary cordage fiber. In the Southeast, dogbane and milkweed provided fibers of exceptional strength. In the Northeast, basswood inner bark produced cordage, documented in colonial era accounts as comparable in strength to European hemp rope. The Lewis and Clark expedition journals from 1804 to 1806 document multiple observations of indigenous cordage that the expedition members noted was equal or superior in functional performance to the manufactured rope they carried from St. Louis, rope made from plants gathered and processed in the field, by hand, in minutes, field by hand, in minutes. The U.S. Army formalized plant cordage production as a teachable military survival skill in the 20th century. FM 21 to 76. The Army Survival Manual documents the reverse wrap method for producing cordage from natural plant fibers as a standard field technique. The manual specifies suitable plant materials, preparation methods, and the two-ply twist technique that produces the strongest cord from available fibers. Special Forces survival training programs include cordage production as a fundamental skill because cordage is the enabling technology for nearly every other survival construction task. Without rope, you cannot lash a shelter frame, you cannot construct a snare, you cannot build a raft, you cannot secure a load for transport. Cordage is the most versatile and most critical tool in any wilderness situation, and it grows on every tree and in every meadow on the continent. The knowledge has been available in a publicly accessible military manual for decades. No outdoor gear retailer has ever suggested you read it instead of buying their paracord. Let me show you exactly why twisted plant fiber is as strong as it is. The strength of twisted cordage comes from a principle in materials science called frictional binding under helical geometry. When individual plant fibers are twisted together, each fiber wraps around its neighbors in a helical spiral. Under tension, when you pull on the rope, the helical wrap tightens. The fibers press against each other with increasing force as the load increases. The friction between compressed fibers prevents any single fiber from sliding out of the bundle. The cord gets stronger under load because the load itself increases the friction that holds the cord together. This is the same principle used in every manufactured rope on the planet, from cotton twine to climbing rope to marine hawser. The materials differ. The physics is identical. A 2-ply reverse wrap cord made from properly prepared plant fibers achieves tensile strengths that are practical for the majority of field applications. Testing conducted by primitive skills instructors and documented in the Journal of Ethnobiology in 2011 measured the breaking strength of 2-ply cordage made from 12 common North American plant species. Cordage made from dogbane achieved an average breaking strength of 45 kilograms. Basswood inner bark achieved 38 kilograms. Cattail leaf fiber achieved 22 kilograms. Even common grass species produced cordage with breaking strengths of 8 to 15 kilograms, sufficient for shelter lashing, snare triggers, and light binding tasks. For comparison, standard 550 paracord has a rated breaking strength of 250 kilograms. Plant cordage does not match manufactured paracord in absolute strength. It does not need to. The majority of field cordage applications, shelter construction, gear lashing, improvised repairs, food hanging, trap construction, require far less than the rated strength of paracord. They require rope that is available when you need it. Plant cordage is always available. Paracord is available only if you remember to pack it. The paracord and survival cordage market generates over $500 million annually. The broader rope and cordage industry exceeds $8 billion. Every foot of manufactured cord sold depends on the consumer believing that functional rope requires a factory. A survival skills instructor who teaches cordage production is teaching self-sufficiency. A gear company that sells paracord is selling dependency. The commercial outdoor industry is built on the second model. Every sponsored content piece, every gear list article, every packing guide published by a retailer with a paracord inventory includes manufactured cordage as a required item. A man who can produce rope from any plant in his environment in 5 minutes does not need to buy cordage, does not need to carry cordage, and does not need to worry about running out of cordage in the field. That man is not a cordage customer. And a man who is not a customer is not commercially valuable to the industry that sells the product he no longer needs. The knowledge was never suppressed. It was simply never commercially promoted. And in a market driven by sponsored content and gear affiliate revenue, unpromoted knowledge is invisible knowledge. Here is the complete reverse wrap cordage technique. You can practice this in your backyard today with materials you will find within 30 seconds of stepping outside. Finding your fiber. The best cordage fibers are long, flexible, and strong when twisted. Here are the most common sources available across the United States. Dogbane and milkweed, the strongest, natural cordage fibers in North America, found in meadows and field edges across most of the lower 48 states. The dried stalks from the previous growing season provide the best fiber. Cattail leaves, available near any pond, lake, or wetland, use dried leaves for best results. Basswood inner bark, available throughout the eastern United States. Peel strips of inner bark from fallen branches. Yucca leaves, abundant across the Southwest. Strong, durable fiber. Long grass, available everywhere. Weakest, individual fiber, but effective when multiple strands are combined. Preparing your fiber. Strip the outer material from plant stalks to access the long inner fibers. For bark sources, peel thin strips and separate into individual fiber bundles. For grass. And leaf sources. Select the longest available material and bundle fibers of similar length together. Fibers should be slightly damp, not soaking wet, not brittle dry. Damp fibers twist more easily and grip each other better. The reverse. Wrap method. Step 1. Start the twist. Take your bundle of fibers. At approximately 1/3 of the way from one end, twist the bundle tightly between your thumb and forefinger. This creates a kink in the fiber bundle. You now have 2 legs of unequal length extending from the twist point, a short leg and a long leg. Step 2. Twist and wrap. Hold the twist point between the thumb and forefinger of your non-dominant hand. With your dominant hand, twist the front leg, the leg closest to you, away from your body, tightly. Then wrap that twisted leg toward your body and over the back leg. The back leg is now the front leg. Step 3. Repeat. Twist the new front leg away from you, wrap it toward you over the other leg, twist away, wrap toward. Every cycle adds another section of finished 2-ply cord. Maintain consistent tension throughout. Step 4. Add fiber, splicing. When one leg gets short, approximately 5 centimeters remaining, lay a new fiber alongside the short leg with an overlap of at least 8 centimeters. Continue twisting and wrapping. The new fiber is locked into the cord by the same frictional binding that holds the entire cord together. This splicing technique allows you to produce cordage of any length from short individual fibers. Step 5. Finish. When your cord reaches the desired length, tie a simple overhand knot at the working end to prevent unraveling. Your finished 2-ply reverse wrap cord is ready for use. Speed with practice. First attempt, 15 to 20 minutes for 1 meter of cord as you learn the hand motions. This is normal. After 5 practice sessions, 5 to 8 minutes per meter, the hand motions become automatic. After 20 sessions, 3 to 5 minutes per meter. This is the speed that experienced primitive skills practitioners and military survival trainees achieve. A man who practices this technique 10 times in his backyard carries a skill that weighs nothing, costs nothing, and works anywhere there are plants for the rest of his life. 30,000 years ago, a human being in the Caucasus Mountains twisted plant fibers together and made the first rope. That single skill enabled shelters, nets, snares, clothing, and every form of construction that followed. It is not an exaggeration to say that cordage production is one of the foundational technologies of human civilization. The Lewis and Clark expedition carried manufactured rope from St. Louis across a continent and watched indigenous communities produce equivalent cordage from the landscape around them in minutes. The manufactured rope ran out. The landscape did not. $500 million in annual paracord revenue depends on you believing that rope must come from a store. Depends on you packing 50 feet of cord into your bag, instead of packing the 5-minute skill that produces unlimited rope from the nearest tree. The plants are growing right now, outside your door, around every campsite, along every trail. The knowledge is here. Subscribe and share this video. Every share reaches a man who will walk lighter and more capable in the field because of it. Every subscription keeps this channel. Opening the vaults the gear industry thought were sealed forever. The next vault opens soon, and what is inside will change how you look at the water in the stream at your next campsite. And the $15 filter you can build from a bucket of sand that outperforms every branded filter on the market.